Hey guys, I admit this is a teaser video, so be warned. This is a teaser video for the brand new volatility arbitrage scripts. Lots of data here, some new metrics, completely rewritten, not completely rewritten. We've used some of the old code from some of the other volatility arbitrage scripts, but we've got it all in one, I think, in a winning system that is just insane. We've been testing it now just for a few days, and today is the first day of live trading. We have lots of information on the screen. I'm going to be going over each one of those in the trading room. We will do a setup for on Tuesday. And lots of really good stuff here. Number one is we've got a bull and bear sum, which is similar to the intratrader script that we use for strong markets indications for trading signals. This is a little bit different. Number one is the signals that you get are not necessarily trade signals, but they are trend signals. So what you do is you take a look at this, say, okay, we got a down signal here. The likelihood is that the trade is going to be down. The trend for the spread between the YM and NQ is going to be down. We have the bull and bear sum here. Those are the two indicators that we're really looking for. We want to see when the bear sum and the bull sum start to flip over here. So right now the bear sum is 101, so it's pretty negative, very negative at this point. We want to see when that starts to shift over to the bull sum. That's when we want to exit our positions. We have a new crossover system. So the crossover system, what it does is it measures the green line and the red line here. Turns red when it goes below zero, green when it's above zero. It measures the dominance of the instruments. So in this case, YM is, if it's green, it's dominating. But if you can see that as it's dominating, but it's starting to decrease in dominance, and that means that the NASDAQ, the NQ, is starting to dominate more and more, and so we get this downturn as the dominance for YM begins to decrease and NQ starts to take over. And that's exactly, now we're going negative on it at this point. It's showing that the NASDAQ is dominant when it goes negative. And when the dominance of the YM is dominating, you'll see this number start to rise from -8 higher to -6, -5, -4, etc. as it goes towards the zero line. And so what it does is it measures the dominance of YM. Right now, NQ, if it's red, like I said, NQ is dominant. So that's what you want to kind of keep an eye out for. You want to see which one is dominant. Now, the histogram, the blue line, that is also a measure of dominance. But typically what we do is we only use that for in case of extreme. So it's also gives us an idea of the trend. And you can see we went from a positive to a negative. Now the difference between this and any of the other volatility arbitrage scripts that we're using is that we've completely rewritten the code. Now this code for the crossover is based on the binary trend columns in the spreadsheet. And so, what did I do with it? I probably put it away. Oh, here it is. Okay. So what we're looking at is basically the binary trend. So this whole thing is the binary trend. It's the same as this column. However, this column goes across 6 columns. This goes across 12. So we have a much wider net being cast across the binary trend, so we can catch the subtleties of the dominance of YM or NQ. So when you see zeros in the binary trend, it means that the spread is going to go down. That means negative. That means that NQ is dominating over YM. Well, that's the same idea here, is that we're looking at, you can look at the blue histogram as the binary trend, and then you can see the line here is kind of the thread of the negative dominance of NQ coming through, and so it's kind of like woven through the binary trend, and that's exactly what's happening here. So you can see it, so that it kind of measures the same thing, but it's not quite. This goes over 12 columns instead of 6, so we've really expanded it quite a bit, but it gives you an idea that who's dominating. In this case here, it was YM. YM was dominating over NQ, and as it declined, that means that more and more NQ is dominating over YM. We've done this now for both of the YM&Q and the ESRTY spread. We've taken positions. We're up nicely. Now these are the micros. We did this on a 4-hour chart. You can use it on a shorter time frame, but I think it's very well suited for the swing trading of the micros, the micro minis. So we took positions up nicely on both of these positions, going short when we saw dominance starting to decline on the ESRTY. Now in this case, of course, we have ESRTY as the dominant pair, and the arbitrage is between the ES dominating or the RTY dominating. When it's green, that means ES is dominating, but when it starts to decline, it shows that the RTY is starting to dominate. And so that's really all that it's telling us. Now there is a momentum as well. You want to keep an eye on the momentum. It's not a line on the chart. The momentum tells us how fast it's moving down. So right now, the momentum is still to the downside, -20. When you start to see that turn up, then you also want to kind of be cautious about your position. In this case, we're in a short position. When you start to see that turn up to 19, 18, 17, -17, -16, -15, as that starts to move up, then the chances are that the shorter term move that you're in is probably not going to last, and we're going to reverse. The second, there's so much information here. So we started to pick up a little bit on the bull sum. If you notice from the beginning of the video, we're at 4 now. We're still 101 on the bear sum. So bears are definitely dominating. The other thing that we added here was an arbitrage volume substitute. So there is no volume like you do have in stocks or in the YM contracts. Now, in technical analysis, typically what you look at as far as volume goes is when there's a move downward, but there's no volume. Like there was very little volume in here, and the market reversed until we got a kind of a peak here, and then you can see there was very little volume on this advance, and so the spread declined. And then when we get really high volume, it's pretty much a capitulation type of situation where, hey, everybody's in this trade. Then we got a dark green bar, which indicates that volume is much, much less than it was here. And you can see that was the end of the trade. And so lots of information in here. We've consolidated it pretty much into this script, and this script, 3 scripts. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. This is probably, we keep innovating constantly, but this is by far the very best system for trading volatility arbitrage that we've come up with so far. It's really, really incredible and amazing from the tests that we've done on it so far. Makes money. Very easy to tell what's going on with these signals. You know that the trend is down. And one of the advantages, as we've mentioned, is with the micros, is that you can actually take, you can build a position. So you might want to take, when you see this counter trend rally from the decline, you see that the volume is very low here. It means that it's not going to last. You could start to take a position, maybe one contract at a time. Maybe you could add to it here. You could and then so you can build up positions over time, and then so you can scale in, and then as the trend continues and declines, you can scale out of your position if you have multiple contracts. All right, guys. So this is, and you can use it on any pair. So on the ESRTY, we've got it on the YMNQ. Those are my favorites. Basically, ESRTY is large cap, small cap. So that's the arbitrage opportunity between large cap and small caps. And this is the primary two indexes that Dr. Ziemba talks about in his book on calendar anomalies, the ESRTY, large cap, small cap. I like the YMNQ. YMNQ arbitrage is industrial and tech stocks. And so with those two pairs alone, you can do very, very well, I think, with this new script. It really is. We've really rewritten a lot of the rules in the code to really hone in on the areas that are most important and impactful for the volatility arbitrage program. And I think you're really going to like this. All right, guys, that's it for today. Talk to you again soon.